Hello, this is Coffee Break with Ninita, a daily guide of coping skills that gets us through by making us strong. This week we are going to cover the issue that we see in couples when one of the two, when there is a half moment or a half situation, in other words, when the couple is going through challenging times, stressful times, either they both follow the path of blaming and criticizing that the other person is not where they need them to be, supportive enough, caring enough, helpful enough, or the one is blaming and criticizing and the other is apologizing, and the two stay stuck in a bad situation despite the attempts, either one or both of them try to get out of that negative situation. But let's first understand that when a bad situation comes up, a stressful situation comes up, we fall into that tunnel. We are pushed in that tunnel that leads to survival mode. And by survival mode, I mean we mentally, emotionally, physically, and socially prepare ourselves into defense. And survival mode has two modes. The one is attack and the other is avoiding. So when a bad situation appears, whether it is for the whole family or it is individual, and we enter that place of survival mode, even though truly we want to free ourselves from that bad feeling doesn't go away. So we blame, hoping that by blaming we will feel relieved, or we criticize, hoping that that will give us a better feeling in the end. We apologize, hoping that this will make things resolve and get better. And in those situations, nothing that we try works. Why? Because bad situations, like I said earlier, put us into survival mode, and one characteristic of that survival mode is seeing truth and reality distorted. In the moment, what we feel and what we see is very true and very real and very important to be addressed. But as time goes on and we get out of that survival mode, we realize that it was not as bad as it felt in the moment. Now, why is that? Because after we let some time go, we are seeing things that we were not able to see in the moment. Because we tend to think the worst case scenario when we are in a bad place. All this belongs to the survival mode. But as time goes on, we see that all those worst situations, as they were approaching, they were not as bad as they felt in the moment. So we have those moments when we have huge blow-ups, because it is the bad situation that has come into the relationship, one factor. And the second factor is that the other person is not helping us feeling better. The way they go about it, it is not supportive, it is not loving, it is also defensive. So, when a crisis comes in, there are two factors that play huge roles in the situation. The crisis itself, the news, the bad news, and the way they impact in the relationship. The members impact, the family members impact one another as a result of how they were impacted by the news. This week, we are going on Wednesday to talk about the one factor, how bad news impact us. And on Friday, we are going to focus in detail of how that impact of the news impact the other person. And we have to deal in every situation with how the bad news impact us and how we get impacted by the way the bad news has impacted our spouse. So let's try and think of all the times that we had arguments and try to bring out those two factors. Because if you relate to your own personal life, as we are talking on Wednesday and Friday, it's going to be much more beneficial. We will talk again on Wednesday.
We thank you for listening to Coffee Break with Ninita. Our goal is to help our StayWHOLE community work through their challenges. Please join this cause by supporting us on Patreon. You can do that for the price of just 1 cup of coffee per month. Just click on the Patreon link in the podcast description below, or simply visit us at www.patreon.com/StayWHOLE. We appreciate you and hope we can help you stay whole.